Hello and welcome to In Business, our look at the world of business, industry and commerce in and around the Liverpool City region. I'm Peter Berry, and joining me in the studio are our resident business experts Jackie Lee and Lynn Boyd from the Business Development Club here in Liverpool. And this week we begin by looking at the impact of social media on business. The pace of change is truly remarkable, and the danger for businesses is not engaging with social media. Currently, there are 1.6 billion monthly active Facebook users globally, up 15% in just a year. Twitter has 1.3 billion registered users, so how do businesses navigate around the plethora of social media, and how best can they use these tools? Where your business sits in the Google rankings, for instance, is crucial. I can recommend a book, for instance, written by Jeff Jarvis, head of journalism at City University, New York. And it's called What Would Google Do? In that book, Jeff talks about a concept called Google Juice, which is where you or your company appears in a Google search for your service or product, or your name, in fact. The aim is to be the top hit, not always easy, so should you get training to use social media, employ search engine optimizers to improve your Google Juice? Well, joining Jackie, Lynn and myself in the studio is Jack Dotchin, who's the social media advisor for the Business Development Club, who hopefully has at least some of the answers. Jack, how best do we engage with social media?
Well, very good question. And obviously, you know, as the information suggests, there's quite a range of information and a range of different ways that you can spend your time trying to, make the most from social media. So I really advise people that one of the first questions you should be asking yourself is, what am I trying to achieve, really? In the same way that, your wider business marketing and the wider sort of day-to-day activity that you do with your business, it's always got an objective and it's always got something that you're trying to achieve or an outcome at the end of that activity. And social media is exactly the same. So, whether you're posting on Facebook, tweeting, sharing videos or pictures, it's all about what am I really trying to get out of the activity that I'm doing here? And, how does that help my business grow and prosper, really?
Jackie, Lynn, in terms of the development of this, I mean, over the last 10 years, it's changed enormously. So what sort of questions would you, as business people, put to Jack?
I think for me, one of the questions is, we talked a lot there about website, we talked a lot about SEO. There's a lot of kind of technical information in there. But if we strip that back down to basics, if we think, for example, about a new business just starting out or a business in their first year of operation, what's important to a new business is cost effectiveness. Yep. And I think from my conversations and my experience that there is a question around how good we are at using social media without it costing a fortune to maximise the opportunities. So with that question, what would your suggestions be?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that, as you rightly point out, one of the strongest things about social media is when compared to websites and SEO and things like that, which can be, a bit costly and sometimes a slightly more longer term strategy. Social media is great because it's by far the freest thing that you can do. And, as you said in the introduction again, there's literally billions of people that you can put yourself in front of before, with a, pretty, driven activity, if you like. You have to put hours and hours and hours in to get the maximum out of it if you actually focus on the right things. And again, understanding your audience is what that's all about. Just because there's a billion people on Facebook doesn't mean that there's, potentially a billion people that are going to give you money. So it's understanding who they call your kind of customer personas. So what are the characteristics of the person that's likely to buy something from you, in the long term? What are they going to be, first hooked by on social media? What social media platform are they most likely to be on? Would that be Facebook, like you say? Would it be Twitter, or would it be one of the more specialist ones, which are sometimes, slightly more focused around the industry that you might be starting up in as well? So it's really understanding the who behind, who do I want my customer to be as well, and thinking about things like who influences them. So if it's celebrities or if it's other industry peers, by going and actually trying to engage with the people that they look up to, it builds you credibility and trust. And that's one of the biggest things on social media in the days where it's really easy to give someone a review, tell them potentially, how they haven't done something right. It's important to go that extra mile so that people are, shouting from the rooftops when you're doing something positive as well.
Okay.
And it's not just all about money, is it? It's also about time. When you're a new business, you've got a lot of things on your plate. So, what would your advice be for some quick hits to actually get out there on social media?
Time's always valuable, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you're just starting up, if you're a successful enterprise. There's always pressures on your time, and obviously making the most of it. And one of the most beneficial pieces of advice to give in this situation, I would think, is actually looking at the tools that can actually harness social media to your advantage. So, for example, even the most focused business that has got one set of customers we want to find, let's go and get them, they're probably still going to be looking at least 2 or 3 social networks that would be quite beneficial to them. So it's still potentially quite a lot of time to replicate the things you're saying across these 3 different platforms, tweak it so that it's obviously as beneficial as possible as it can be on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So there's lots of tools that you can use. There's a great one called Buffer. And what that does is it allows you to schedule all of your posts across all of the different social channels that you might use. So rather than going into each one, 3 times and repeating it, you can manage these places in one central location. And the other great thing is they give you lots and lots of metrics about how many people looked at your post, for example, which a lot of the channels individually do as well now, but it's all in one place. And because they're a little bit more impartial, you can actually assess, well, who is open, who's clicking on the links most, who's seeing the posts, the most, is that on Facebook or Twitter? And you can actually shape your strategy, if you like, through the understanding and the data that you're getting to actually confirm what it is that is having the most impact for you. It's all well and good us digital people sitting here going, we've got all the answers. It doesn't work like that. The great stuff is there's data to tell us all the answers that we can kind of take the credit for, if you like. So, it's understanding where you get this data from and, importantly, what it means for your business. Because, no one walks onto a car forecourt, for example, and goes, use car, please. They'll look into it, they'll do some research, and there's actually a buying process that people go into to, before they make that purchase. For something like a car, they say it's about 80 engagements that they will have with a brand. For, a pair of jeans or a pair of trainers, it's going to be a lot less than that. So it's understanding through using these tools and the types of, the data that they generate, what time of day people are on Facebook, for example. LinkedIn has peak times very different to Facebook. So you might post something on LinkedIn in the day, and then when everyone's at home having the tea, it's still the same audience. They've just switched channels, so you can kind of reiterate that message to them there. And it's that repeat engagement that turns people into your fans and then your customers down the line. And they say that people engage you about 7 times before they'll actually make an inquiry or sign up to your page or something like that. So you've got to be persistent. And I think on that note, it's important to say, don't be put off if people don't swarm to you, if you like. It does take a little bit of time to get the momentum going. And, always get feedback from people. If you've got a small audience to start with, the beauty is you can actually spend time asking them what they want to see from you, what your competitors let them down on, how do they feel wanting in the industry. And if someone says it to you, chances are there's quite a lot of other people out there in the big wide world that are experiencing the same problem, and you can answer that question before they've even realised it. And another big thing on social media is give as gain, basically. If you're willing to give the information to people, to put an ebook together that gives a how-to guide on how to set up, XYZ with your business, that's what people really like to see. And people feel like you've actually gone out your way to help them, and that's when they'll reward you by, sharing your posts, signing up to your page, whatever it might be.
And it's like blogs as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of bite-sized chunks of information that you can give to people.
Definitely. And, everyone thinks, oh, where am I going to write, 20 blogs a month? Where am I going to find this time? You don't need to do that. You can actually curate other people's content, which is absolutely fine as long as you're not trying to sort of pass it off as your own or anything like that, and you sort of reference it and tell people, found this great piece of information at this source. But in the same mentality, you're sharing information, and that's really what people want to see these days. Everyone is a lot more switched on than they used to be, as we said, with kind of buying cycles and stuff. So you've got to really, show your dirty washing to people, for lack of a term. They want to see everything to do with your business, and then they can make an informed decision as to, whether you're right for them. And if you're focused on service, which most, social media focused businesses tend to be, as a slightly sweeping statement, chances are you're going to win because you're more focused on giving your customers, what they want, really.
So quite a lot of what we're saying here then is you have to know your own service and product in order to relay that in the right way. So with that in mind then, if I'm looking at, I am not the best at social media, and I'll admit that straight away as somebody in business. So there's all kinds out there. I look at it and a lot of the time I go, oh my word, what do I do with this? So with that in mind, how would you give me, say, 3 top tips that I need to start looking at? So within my business plan, within my marketing plan and my strategy, give me a couple of tips in terms of, I go from here today, what can I do to make a difference?
Good question. Well, I think, as we said, look at the tools that can help you manage your time really is the biggest one. Having a clear plan of sort of saying, right, well, what are the objectives? And everyone, when we kind of talk to people and, consult on the matter, goes, I want to make money and I want to sell more stuff on Facebook. And that's great, that's absolutely fine, but there's a series of steps that get you to that point. No one, just gets the checkbook out, unfortunately. It's about kind of getting them to like you, then maybe start engaging with some posts and stuff. And it's understanding the characteristics of that person. If they're really engaged with football, talk about the latest signings. If they're really engaged with EastEnders, talk about what happened in last night's episode. And I'm not saying, they might be completely irrelevant examples, but it's about what resonates with the people that...
So get to know my customer then.
Reach, yeah.
Definitely. And then finally, I would say, be persistent. Don't be scared of people not responding to you. It's not a transactional, phone call like it used to be or text message. If people don't respond, they might not have seen the message. Not everyone sits there all day on Facebook looking at their newsfeed, reloading it, going, brilliant, let's go. You've got to catch people at the right time.
That's a great tip.
And going back to things like buffer and stuff, that actually tells you what time of day your audience is on Twitter, what time they're on LinkedIn. So you can map and correlate your activity around, where you feel the most of your audience is.
Jack, we've got to jump in there. We've run out of time. So thanks, Jackie Lynn. And of course, Jack, that's it for the first half. Don't go away. We'll be back soon. Hello, welcome back to In Business with me, Peter Berry, and our resident experts, Jackie Lee and Lynn Boyd from the Business Development Club. In part 1, we heard how social media is impacting on businesses, small and large. Presenting a good image has always been important too in business, from premises to the crockery. But what about clothes? The standards have changed a lot in recent years. I'm wearing a suit today, but increasingly in media outputs, even the BBC, we see presenters wearing more casual gear, including jeans. Should it always be a shirt and tie for the guys and a suit for the gals? Joining us now in the studio is Jennifer Jia Wang, who's a personal stylist for the John Lewis Partnership.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
Thanks very much.
Jennifer.
Thank you for having me today.
Thanks very much for coming along today. Now, what we wanted to talk about today was the importance of how we market ourselves. And for Jackie and I, this is a really important piece for both ladies and men. So we'd like to start looking at some of the styles and some of the ways that we can dress to impress within business.
Nice.
So if we start with Danielle, if we'd like to invite Danielle onto the floor. Danielle is a student at Wedding Planners Guild UK. So if you can talk us through, Jennifer, what Danielle's wearing.
Oh, definitely, Lynn. This is Danielle is wearing today John Lewis dress with a phase 8 cardigan, June shoes and a Ferrari bag. I thought this outfit was perfect. Definitely a statement, as you can see already, how Danielle holds her confidence when wearing this dress. Thought it's definitely best suited, definitely because of the shaping. Danielle's got a beautiful figure, so definitely something that shows her off without not being inappropriate.
Okay.
We went for a cardigan instead of like a power-suited jacket, which I felt suited this dress because it's a bit more relaxed. And I feel like on a spring day, summer days, this is definitely something best suited, where I feel like Danielle feels definitely comfortable. And she works it well.
And if that cardigan comes off, is that
Yeah,
sleeves?
It
or?
has got a bit of sleeves, and again, any lady that is a bit, not comfortable with having anything sleeveless, again, it just gives that nice, not quarter, but just that mid-sleeve. Again, makes Danielle feel definitely comfortable, and I think it's just beautiful. And again, a lot of people would say like the colouring, but it's something she can wear season after season.
And how do you feel in that, Danielle?
Very comfy.
Good, good. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks, Danielle.
Next up that we have Marie.
So Marie has various roles in the public eye, so it's really important that she looks smart and yet approachable.
Most definitely, and I thought this was the best fitting suit. This one's from Hobbs, and as you can see, it's got the matching jacket with the dress, which has got the blocking that almost looks like a top, but it's all in one, which sometimes is a lot more easier when you are, you know, as what Marie does for day-to-day for work, you just want to run out the door and you just want to dress that instead of worrying how's it going to look, how's it going to fit. This just comes all together. I love the tweeding effect at the front of the jacket, gives it kind of like that Chanel-esque vibe.
Yeah. I'm really jealous of that. You know.
These shoes are fabulous as well.
Fabulous
again.
To the
side there,
definitely,
Marie,
we went for like a navy, and then it's got a nice
yeah.
contrast of kind of like a croc mock as well as like a patent, and again, you know, like a shoe as well as being comfortable. They're very comfortable, would you say, yes. Marie?
Yeah.
And definitely when you want to walk into a room, you don't want to be kind of, you know, struggling.
How do you feel, Marie? Does that feel good?
Very comfortable.
Yeah. I like the sort of pop of colour with the bag. It's a total contrast, but it really looks good.
Definitely, we went for a Modelu bag, a popular one, the Middletons, and Pippa being a representation of Modelu bags. We went for this one. Again, I thought the tan just gives a bit of a colour at the same time without having to be like a pop of colour, but at the same time still, you know, conform.
Good size for business as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, everything in there.
Everything in there.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Marie.
And next up, we've got Yvonne.
Hello, Yvonne. This looks fab.
This look is...
Yvonne is from Wedding Planners Guild UK. She's a wedding planner, and she also trains. So you need to be really kind of versatile in your look.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is definitely what we went for. Yvonne definitely specialised that she likes a pop of colour, and this is where we went through with the bag and the shoes. And she's given us a Sarah Jessica Parker, most definitely, of having fun with the outfit. So obviously being a wedding planner, you still got that fun, you know, not being too serious. You can be still relaxed, but still at the same time we went with shaping, and I love this cloth suit. It is just everything. It made Yvonne feel comfortable, you know, from anything that she felt conscious of, and I just love how she wears it well.
Yeah, 12.
I love it.
Fab. That is, again, it's this thing about looking smart, looking business-like, but a bit more relaxed.
Yes.
Can I just ask, I am dying to see this culotte set on its own. Can you just take your jacket off so we can have a look?
So as you can see, it's sleeveless, and again, it just gives that freedom. And what I love about it as well, she can take it right up until the winter and maybe put like a white classic shirt underneath. So at the same time, it's something that can be now and for the winter. But definitely, as I say, very, very, very classy.
Wear out this afternoon buying that,
I
definitely.
know.
Okay.
I know, fabulous.
Thanks,
I'll have
Yvonne.
to fight you for it. Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank you.
Yvonne. Next up, we have Helen. And Helen is dressed in our John Lewis core range from head to toe. And loving this outfit. As you can see with the top, we went for like a bit of a peplum and a nice pencil skirt. So we've got like the nice contrast going through with like the colouring. It's almost like a spotting. And I just feel like it's just, again, easy to wear, easy to maintain. Love the accessory that Yvonne herself put on, Model's Own, just to give it a bit more character. And that, again, that just shows with a lot of the pieces that we've shown today, you can add just your bit of touches that makes it you almost. And I feel that when people see those kind of accessories, people are drawn to them, so it's almost like an opener for a conversation. So if you are going for that interview and you're a bit worried and, you know, you're thinking, oh, my outfit's on point, but, you know, do I look good? I'm sure someone would automatically be drawn to any of the items that she's got on today.
And in Helen's business, Exquisite Weddings, so she's a planner that goes out and talks to families and talks to brides, and as you said, just nice conversation opener. She looks smart, but she looks approachable.
And I feel like you feel very comfortable in it as well, Helen. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous.
Helen.
Thanks, Helen.
Okay, and next,
I like that.
but not least, we've got the lovely Andrew. Our one male model today, but a great one. So with Andrew, we went for a nice jacket from Selected Hom, another range from John Lewis, Kin trousers, again a nice contemporary new range. Went for a nice pair of June shoes, and then we just went for a nice black tie and white shirt. And I love this look because it doesn't have to be a traditional matching suit.
Fabulous.
And
I really love that. You really love it.
And I feel like Andrew definitely feels a lot more confident. A lot of the jackets that we did try on Andrew, I felt were a bit more structured when we went for like a base, like a all-in-one normal suiting. But this one definitely, I feel, definitely flatters Andrew.
And it looks really trendy. And of course, with Andrew's business, top productions, and he provides entertainment, you know, to events. So I think he's really got to look on trend, on point, and you know, in addition to that, he's dealing with lots of people all the time. He works in the entertainment industry, so he's a choreographer for Shout the Musical. I don't know if you know that.
Yes,
coming on the Royal Court soon. He's taking every opportunity to advertise it.
Love it, Andrew.
Give us a twirl, Andrew, because
Yeah,
I
give
do
us a
like
twirl.
it.
Definitely this jacket Andrew can wear again for, so like obviously the nights out after, you know, the show. This jacket can be definitely worn again with a pair of like relaxed chinos.
I was going to say that, and jeans.
Definitely,
Yeah,
and I can
yeah.
definitely see that with Andrew.
Yeah, and different shoes.
Definitely different shoes, as Andrew has, where I can see he's like versatile. So again, even if he has a nice pair of like boating shoes, nice pair of like cool plimsolls, you know, at the same time, he can mix this look up definitely.
Yeah.
And again, it's because it's not an together suiting, he can just mix it up as he pleases.
Yeah, and I think that jacket would look fabulous with a coloured shirt or a pattern shirt.
Definitely something with a pop of colour. And this is the beauty with men. They don't have to be restricted. As much as we like to say they've only got a suit to work with, they can work with colour most definitely. So again, if he wants to be that kind of conservative look, he can go for this. But if he wants to be his trendy self and bring out his character, which Andrew has great character, as you say, jacket colour would definitely be good with an outfit such as this.
Feel comfortable, Andrew?
Very.
Oh, great.
Fabulous. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah. So that really brings into what Peter said early on, is that there's so many different ways.
The look that Andrew has is, again, I come from a generation where it's the suit, the shirt, the tie, the shoes, shiny shoes, and that's it. And you can't deviate from that. Is that changing? Are we...
I would say you've got a mixture, because you have the classics that people like to go if they're going to like Savile Row and, you know, just like the mainly nice suiting, and people like the classics. And that is a lot, you know, you can see with a lot of generations coming from the 20s up until like a much older, they do still like to have like the classical kind of suiting. I just feel like now they just like to mix it up, because sometimes with men's fashion, sometimes people just feel a bit like it's just the same, it's the same. So I feel like different branding are just giving just different a different approach really to how it is that a man's suit can look like, rather than the traditional. But there's no harm in still wearing a traditional suit, not at all.
And I suppose it depends what image you're looking to portray.
Most
whether
definitely,
you're, you know,
Jackie.
depending whether you're going into a very corporate situation
Definitely.
or a more relaxed situation.
Definitely.
And you can achieve it with like a similar outfit, just mix and match, can't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, it is very much, isn't it? Horses for courses. Well, Jackie Lynn, Jennifer, and all our models, of course, many thanks. That's all for this edition of In Business. We're back in a fortnight. Please feel free to email us with any issues you'd like us to discuss on In Business. info@baytvliverpool.com is the best email address for that. Or you can keep in touch via Twitter or indeed Facebook. So from all the studio guests and from me, in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your next 2 weeks from Jackie Lynn and myself and all our studio guests this week. Bye-bye.